Someone is thinking about you, especially when their thoughts about you are romantic in nature. These thoughts can actually easily be picked up and interpreted by you. And in fact, you are already unconsciously interpreting all of this thought energy being sent to you by others. It's just happening on this very subconscious level. So usually, because we are interpreting or receiving thoughts that others are having about us through the subconscious mind, the best way to be able to identify whether a certain person is thinking about us is by analyzing the conscious manifestations of that energy we are picking up on subconsciously. So in this podcast episode, I am going to be sharing with you 6 signs someone is thinking about you romantically. But before I get into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. Be sure to click the subscribe button if you haven't yet to join our beautiful community here on YouTube of like-minded, conscious, creative beings. So the first sign someone is thinking of you romantically is that you start thinking of them in a romantic light with no real identifiable trigger or cause, or even really a starting point to these thoughts. Typically, when you are the one who is generating these thoughts about the other person from your own mind, this is usually something that takes place more gradually. You notice this person, you might begin to have a few thoughts about them, and then those thoughts can pick up more and more momentum. Again, this is when you are the one thinking about them. However, when they are sending you this thought energy by thinking about you, and you are therefore picking up on that energy, it does feel somewhat different. Rather than these thoughts of them coming on gradually, they will tend to, I don't want to say that they're intrusive, although for some of you, in certain cases, they may feel intrusive. You will just find yourself spontaneously and this suddenly thinking about this person out of the blue. And very often, these thoughts about them are romantic in nature very early on. So there isn't really this gradual progression of you begin to think about them, then over time you start to see them in more and more of a favorable way until finally you have these romantic thoughts about them. When someone is thinking of you and you are picking up on it, very often your conscious mind will interpret that energy it is receiving subconsciously as these sudden, very sudden emotionally charged feelings about this person that again seem to come completely out of the blue. The second sign someone is thinking of you romantically is these thoughts about them may at times actually feel intrusive. Now, when I say intrusive, I know that that word has a really negative connotation, but what I mean by intrusive in this sense is it feels as though there is something that is coming into your mind that isn't yours or wasn't originated by you. So you may just have this intuitive sense, because again, we are all very, very highly intuitive. This intuitive sense that the thoughts you are having about this person didn't originate in your own mind. In fact, it may have been that very intuition that led you to finding this video. So perhaps even the fact you are listening to this video is a sign that your intuition is trying to tell you that the feelings or thoughts you are picking up on in your own mind are actually signs that this other person is thinking of you romantically. The third sign someone is thinking of you romantically is that not only do you have these potentially romantically or emotionally charged thoughts about them, but you may even have these flashes of images in your mind. These images could almost look as though or feel as though you are seeing pictures or watching a movie of you and this person together in some sense. Most likely, these, again, will have a romantic undertone to them. So you could be in a romantic setting in these kinds of images and pictures that pop into your mind. Now, The phrasing pop into your mind is a bit intentional here because just like with the earlier sign, usually this does feel as though it comes on completely spontaneously. Very often, these thoughts or images that are flashing into your mind about you and this person being together romantically are actually you, again, picking up on what is taking place within that other person's own mind, because we are all energetically connected to one another. This means that when this person is having these thoughts about you, especially in a very emotionally charged way, if they're thinking of you romantically, these thoughts take on a kind of power, a kind of powerful energy that then transmits itself to you unconsciously. And again, you are able to pick up on it, sometimes in the form of just vague feelings or thoughts about them, but other times, like in this third sign, more specifically, even in seeing or viewing in your own mind the exact images or daydreams that that specific person could be imagining about you. The fourth sign someone is thinking of you romantically is you may get the sudden urge to communicate with this person. This is really just going to be a theme that all of these signs, for the most part, are things that seem to happen with no known trigger, completely spontaneously, completely out of the blue. And the same is true for this sign. So you may just be browsing around your phone when all of a sudden you have this almost irresistible urge or impulse to reach out to this specific person, to communicate with them, to tell them something. Now, believe it or not, this could actually be a sign that this other person is strongly wanting to communicate with you. So in some sense, whether they realize they are doing this or not, they are sending you such a powerful signal through their thoughts about you that you are the one, again, who is getting the urge to actually communicate with them. This person, regardless of whether they know about the law of attraction or they are actively trying to manifest communication from you, is actually manifesting you into their life. Again, through these very powerful thoughts and feelings about you. Now, just like you may feel the urge to communicate with them via text or call at a distance, you could also have the subconscious desire to be closer to this person, either emotionally or physically, when they are thinking of you romantically. And this is the fifth sign. So what I mean by subconsciously is possibly when you are in this person's space or energy. So when you are communicating with them via texting, calling, in person, next to them, you may find yourself just feeling drawn to either be closer to them physically or to get yourself closer to them, even emotionally, by opening up to them, by asking them more questions, having them open up to you. You will just have this urge to create more of a closeness between the two of you. Because what you are subconsciously responding to here is this kind of magnetic pull that this person is creating around themselves through all of these extremely positive thoughts and feelings about you. Whenever someone thinks very positively about us, especially in a romantic sense, but really in any sense, when our subconscious picks up on this, very often we will have this feeling of simply wanting to be close to that person because subconsciously we can sense that this person feels and thinks very positively about us. So it makes us want to be drawn toward them. Now, of course, this can work the opposite direction as well. We can feel this unexplainable repulsion away from someone when they are thinking or feeling very negatively about us. But in this case, the person you have in mind could be thinking about you so positively with such strength and emotion behind those thoughts that it is creating a kind of magnetic energy around them that you are feeling in the form of wanting to be closer to that person. And finally, the sixth sign someone is thinking of you romantically is, of course, the classic sign of dreaming about them. Our dreams are such a beautiful and fascinating experience because as we sleep, as we dream, our conscious mind is completely relaxed and dormant. And what this means is that our subconscious mind is wide open and impressionable. It is this very unique window of time during our day when we are able to, at times, receive these signs and signals more openly from our own mind, from our subconscious, as well as from the minds of others, because our conscious mind isn't in the way to overanalyze what we are picking up on energetically. So if you begin to have very romantically or emotionally charged dreams about this other person, again, very spontaneously and unexpectedly, this can absolutely be a sign that this person is thinking of you. Now, the incredible thing about our interconnectedness with everyone on the planet is that we are not only capable of receiving this energy from others as they think about us, but we are also capable of transmitting this energy to others. In fact, many forms of connection begin with these forms of thought energy that take place within the mind, and as a result of how we are thinking either about ourselves, about our lives, or about other people or a specific other person, we will attract or repulse many of these people from our lives accordingly. So if you would like to manifest someone specific into your life, I have created a really powerful subliminal meditation for manifesting someone specific. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with subliminals, these are the most powerful form of meditation and really the most powerful law of attraction tool that you can use, because unlike most law of attraction techniques that only address the conscious mind, which is really only 5% of the thoughts of our energy, the subliminals I create are designed to deeply reprogram your subconscious, and it's actually the subconscious that controls 95% of your thoughts, actions, and outcomes in life. So this subliminal comes from my website, soundandsoulful.com, and as you can see on the screen, on this website, I've created over 100 subliminals for all areas of life. So I have subliminals for physical appearance changes, for mood shifts like confidence and happiness, for love and relationships, for manifesting specific things like money or material goals. And specifically in this subliminal for manifesting someone specific, it is designed to assist you in sending out these powerful, magnetic, positive thoughts unconsciously, which again is 95% of your thoughts. So this will help you to send those thoughts very powerfully to this other person in order to create a kind of magnetic bond between the two of you that ultimately will pull you together in the physical world as well. So the link to this subliminal is in the pinned comment and description box under this video. You can try it out completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next video.